Good morning, 8:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to do some technical analysis this morning. Not going to go over any kind of notes or anything, no information, no informal. Just I want to do some technical analysis. If you want to get some information on XRP as a investment versus a swing trading opportunity, take a look at the video last night. It got about 450 views. I knew it wouldn't be the most popular video, but it's a very informative video. It'll let you know about my trading technique and exactly what I'm doing with my trading philosophy. So I'm not going to continue to repeat myself, but if you want to show some support, go watch that video from yesterday. The US dollar currency index, after a huge fall off, we're having some kind of little rally here. Not much. Huge bear flag formed. And to me now, our only hope is if we were to get rejected, maybe come up a little higher. Hopefully we can push through this and not have to deal with this because we held the downtrending support. But if we were to fade away, maybe create an inverted head and shoulders, that could help pop us back up. But I believe that's going to end up being the last chance for the US dollar. If we do break down underneath those levels, it's going to go to die. We've got the BRIC nations, and well, here's a little information. So the BRIC nations, Saudi Arabia, other countries now are trying to get their oil through the Saudi Arabia. But they don't want to use the US dollar. They don't want to use the greenback to make the purchase. So what's ended up happening is they're trying to prove that they should be able to use their own native currencies. And how are they trying to prove that to the Saudis? By backing their reserves with gold. China's the latest example. India, because the Saudis love gold. They have a lot of gold in their reserves, as we should here, but unfortunately we have nothing in our vaults. That's why you have to print so much money. So the dirty, dark secret here is the US dollar is being artificially sabotaged now. The US doesn't want the dollar to break down, but across the world they do. So what Powell said, and combating it with what's going on with the BRIC nations. So basically what's happening is let's just, China for example. They bought a whole bunch of gold. They're backing their reserves with gold, their native currency. And now they're going to go to the Saudis and say, hey, we want to buy your oil, but we're not interested in using the greenback or the US dollar as the petrodollar anymore. Well, why should we take your money? And then they show them the gold reserves, show them the backing, and then the Saudis are like, you know what? We'll take your money, because then if you default, we'll just come take your gold reserves. So that's what most of these countries are doing. So they're trying to position themselves so they don't have to use the US dollar for petro anymore. And if that happens, you say goodbye to our existence. We'll end up being a bigger third world country than some of the biggest messes out there, because literally we only print money. So that's the importance of doing gold and silver, and the importance of investing wisely in the time that we have. Right now we've got Bitcoin at 23,761, up about 26 points on the day. Again, it had a nice little move up, but now it looks to have lowered what could be interpreted as a minor bear flag this morning, even though it's still on a bull flag. It gets a little tricky when they start to cut down very quickly like that. Because then if you go into higher time frames, you start to look at it and it looks kind of like we've pulled it down now. These are always tricky, very tricky. But if we hold this layer, it's fine. Likely we would come back down to that 23,500 in the 2 hour though. That's something we'll have to watch. But we've continued to push up. Still over this downtrending support line, which is it's about a 2-year trend line now. We pushed up, and now we got to see, is this starting to top, or is this just the next layer of consolidation? Maybe come down to 23,500, then bounce back up and try to make a push to 25, and then see if we can break through there and end up ultimately at this 25,700 on this uptrend on the broken bull flag. If not, we can still top out here. This could still be a topping reversal. We haven't made any real noise. We popped up, but we have continuously get hammered in here. This was a new high though, so that's a good thing. But it immediately pulled down on a wick. So I always look at it and it's like, is this going to continue a bull flag? Or did it come up just to trick us and now it's got like a little bear flag that will eventually pull us down? These little pull downs like this are always interesting. If we have more power, that'll just be use as consolidation. If we're losing support and we don't have as much buyers, then this could always reverse back down, and that's where you start that rollover. So that's what we're watching here right now, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. Come up, come up, you know, and then you start to make your area. We've already got a nice area, so we wouldn't even need to do that. But we're trading between the zones, and that's what you really need to see. That's the main points here this morning. XRP, a little different. We've come up, looks to be in somewhat of a flag here. Still getting rejected by this downtrending resistance of 416, or the 417 was back here, but now another day is gone, so now it's around the 416. And then we have the uptrending support underneath, which now will sit at about the 394 level. 395 you could say, but 394 is more effective. We still have this head and shoulders pattern that it could possibly still be creating, or the topping reversal. Need to get above this yellow line, and now we're getting supported on the 413 and getting rejected by the 416 or 417. So could be a bull flag forming, and then we pull out. If we did pull out of this area, we already know we're retesting this broken flag, and that's at 4475 in this area. So 447 started off at 442, but we've come across rather far. So I'd rather just use it's actually 447 we'll just use over here. Even though it comes up to like 448 the farther you go. 447 is where I'm looking at a push up. And then if a breakdown occurs, we'd be looking for this break of the uptrending support line here at about 395 level. In between, we've got the 382, the 371, and 355. Those are major supports on the way down. I just don't have it listed everywhere in here, but I wrote it down so you can see it. You can write it down. And you can study it if you would like in your spare time. XRP USD, the wider pattern, we're still on the uptrending support that we broke down. First things first would be to get back above here on this chart at the 424 level, and then ultimately push back up to around the 46 cent level. 461 would be the top of this descending triangle, or this bear flag, the ultimate bear flag, letting it play true. So, and then if you go into the all-time pattern, I get asked all the time, is it a good time to buy XRP? Absolutely. In the grand scheme, XRP's at 41.3. In the grand scheme, in 2026 approximately, maybe a little sooner, I believe we can start doing this pop-up, and then we can eventually get up to $5.49. That's a legitimate price target. That's not telling you we're going to 10,000 like most people will say because they need your views. That's not getting your hopium up. That's a legitimate price target that can happen if we follow a few basic things that I'm showing. Look at this consolidation, folks. If you think we're just going to 10 billion right now, you're out of your mind. This is the accumulation phase. All in here is accumulation. Even if it got down to 2 cents or 18 cents or up to 52 cents, it's still the accumulation zone. Anything down under this downtrending resistance where we're at right now, until we get above $1, that's all accumulation. Under 50 cents especially should be looked at as a major accumulation zone. So don't sit back and just wait for sub 20 cents and not build your portfolio. That's one thing I can tell you. If you're sub 40 cents, you should have been stacking. Sub 30 cents especially. Sub 20 cents is where you can start thinking the all-in moments of portfolio left over. And anything under 50 cents where you can 2 to 1 is still a good buy. This isn't the time to be selling XRP either. I don't believe selling XRP at 41 cents is the right answer. So that question shouldn't even be asked. If you're buying it now, it should be to accumulate from when we get to 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 50, 100, depending on where you're looking at. But I wouldn't be selling any XRP until it gets to the all-time highs or in the next bull run if it proves that it fails out at $1.50 or $2. Well, yeah, then you can sell out. But we're trying to accumulate in the bear market so we can have a huge return in the bull market. No different than buying silver right now and stacking it with the ratio 80 to 1. That's what we're looking at with XRP right now. It's extremely cheap. The value is going up every day because it's getting cheaper. To buy it now at 41 cents compared to $1.98 is monumental as far as building a portfolio. You're starting to stack 80% off, not the other way around. So if you had enough money for 10,000 shares, that was almost 20 grand at $1.98. Now you only need to use 4,100. So now you got over $15,500 in the back pocket. So you can use that 80% of your funds for when it hits the absolute bottom, if it does. We always have to say if because we don't know what the market manipulators, but to me it looks like it's got to go much lower still. And I believe at least that 18-cent support should get hit. I believe it's going to go lower than that still. But we have to wait for the pattern to, present itself and finish playing out. So I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you got anything out of this update, hit the subscribe button. And if you need an exchange to use, go to the past videos. Some of them do good. Some of them do okay. I put out too much content yesterday, so not everybody watched the most important video, which is kind of a shame, which was this one. I did a lot of work here. Still got 437 views. But most of you missed a very powerful message here. A very powerful message. So, go to my video description. Come down here if you want to join me at MEXC. No VPN, no spot fees, no KYC in the USA. 200x leverage. XRP you can trade. Send over on the XRP ledger. They've got XDC. They've got Casper. They've got a whole bunch of stuff. HBAR. And then BitGet, if you are in the USA, you're going to need VPN, but I love BitGet still. The reserves are 6 times the amount of what they have loaned out to people, so that's always a good thing. UPHOLD's my most trusted, where I keep most of my liquid cash, and they're Web3 enabled. And then you can join Tom's Army simply by clicking Join Tom's Army. Pay it forward, get the telegrams, get the exclusive emoji badges, and show me you care. Hashtag the FUD stops here.